we are looking at some very expensive cards that I would just proxy until they come around again. Number one, these cards are not on the reserve list. Number two, these cards are not super old and scarce like Portal 3 Kingdoms. And number three, these aren't Judge promos, etc.
Did you just change the name of this video from top cards that need to be reprinted to top cards to proxy? Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat. Hello and welcome to The Day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. Let's jump into these cards. You know them, you love them. If you like the video by the end of it, hit the subscribe button, or you know what? Just go down there and click like if you like Mana Crypt. Jake,
just click buttons. Just go down there and click a button.
Any button you
down
want.
There.
Jake,
okay.
$180 is about what a Mana Crypt is going to cost you at this point. We kind of got it recently in Double Masters, but I mean, Kaladesh, Eternal Masters, we've seen some very wild reprints of this one, but it's a card that it gets reprinted and it shoots right back up.
I don't have this card anymore. I sold all of these off as they continued to creep up in price because this is a card that I see at the top of Wizards of the Coast premium set release. Like, how long has it been, guys? Can we put Mana Crypt into another set? But it's a card that's really good, and if you want to test it out, if you want to see, you know, is this a card that I really want in my decks, then yeah, no time like the present to proxy it up and see if Mana Crypt is the card for you. It is one of those cards that you only need one copy of.
Yeah, that's true. And look, it's $180 right now. Honestly, if you have a copy, I'd be like putting it into a notebook or maybe even trying to sell it and flip it for when it's inevitably reprinted in the next 2 years. Because at $180, I don't want to be playing with it a ton. But yeah, Mana Crypt, top of the list now. Imperial Seal, How the Mighty Have Fallen with one nice little reprint. I think we might still see that card. But Jake, Jeweled Lotus is definitely a card that, you know, it's kind of interesting. The list starts off with 2 0-mana artifacts.
And I will say this, I was going to say it about Mana Crypt, but it can be said about Jeweled Lotus as well. When we do get reprints of these cards, they will be reprinted with great amount of variance attached.
Seriously.
Like we just saw Force of Will get reprinted with a retro border.
And a showcase border.
Dude, I would guess that at minimum, if Mana Crypt or Jeweled Lotus show up in a collector booster, you're probably going to have an etched version. It's a 50-50 chance etched version. You're going to have an extended art version. You're probably going to have an alternate art version if it's anything like the Double Masters sets that we've seen that have come out. And you're going to have the base copy. You're going to have the foil copy. So when Jake,
like a 10% on top of that is like a textured foil or a
serialized, right?
hoverboard scratch and sniff. You know, whatever the next version of the hyper chase is, that's going to be part of it too.
Hopefully those are meaningful enough reprints to where you see the cards a lot. Some mythics show up at like the rare consistency while other mythics actually seem to be mythic.
Right. Yeah. $100 for Jeweled Lotus, $177 if you want to get that extendo, and the foils are up from there, but not as up as a normal foil because this did come from Commander Legends, and that set's foils were Pringles.
Oh, dude, I was just doing some organizing, and my foils from Commander Legends, they're just unsalvageable. They just look like like Garbo, man. They just are awful. They're awful. And it's funny because they were hit or miss. Some of them were really good, some of them weren't. Next up, we have Doubling Season. 1 green, 4 other for this big beefy enchantment that's just really good in counter strategy, token strategies. It's one of those cards where the casting cost really does check out. The effect is just that good that you want to pay the 5 mana because all of the residual effects that you get from this card just sitting on the battlefield are just absolutely amplified. And it's one of those other cards. We could put this on the fine wine list, Joel. We should make a list of cards that age like fine wine, because they just get better the more synergy that you build into them.
For sure.
It's the private reserve, and doubling season never gets old.
This is the cheapest version that you can get right here. You're looking at it, Modern Masters. $82-ish, $83-ish. We're looking at TCG Market like we always do. The most expensive version right now is that tiny dinosaurs popping out from Double Masters, the extended showcase version or alternate, whatever you want to call it. But, $80 to $130, this card is ubiquitous. It popped up first in Ravnica. It's seen reprints in Modern Masters, Battle Bond, and Double Masters, and is still above an $80 card at Rare. Now, in Battle Bond and Double Masters, it was printed at Mythic. They did upshift it there. But in Ravnica and Modern Masters, it was Rare. So this is the kind of card you're going to see the high-end strategies, highest played commander strategies. They need this. It's expensive. I would proxy it. Whoa! Jake! Oh! Imperial Seal from downtown. Look at this one. Still popping up on the list. We got a nice little reprint of it with our Double Masters 2022, but around $77 is where this card still sits. It was a Mythic. It got 3 versions. This base copy is currently the cheapest version at $77 that you can get at this card. But, I mean, Jake, when you're coming down from a $500 price point, $76 seems really good in comparison.
Yeah, and I think it has even more room to drop. I remember when Imperial Recruiter came out, and Imperial Recruiter was like super hyped. Everybody was like, whoa, it's a $300 card that they're putting into this new Masters set. I think it was Masters 25 was the first time that we got the big Imperial Recruiter reprint. Yeah. And then the more of them that we got, the more and more it dropped. So I think Imperial Seal, it's a card that's really specific, but we already call it the worst Vampiric Tutor because it is. I think it's just a card that offers redundancy to decks that want those extra tutor effects. So right. I think even though it's a $77 card, I think it has more time to drop. And I hope that the more reprints that come out, it just absolutely obliterates the price. Look at what happened to Mana Drain. Mana Drain's hovering around like 35 to 40.
Yeah, it's like a $30 card now. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I think that what we're going to need to see, I don't think this version is going to like tank too hard. I think it will, like the rest of all MTG singles right now, sort of lazily drift down, and then the whole kind of group will start to lazily drift back up and follow the markets. But this one more reprint, like you're saying, it wasn't until we got that extra recruiter reprint that card completely tanked. And so this is the kind of card, I think the comparison to Mana Drain is super apt, because this is the one more reprint, bro. One more reprint of this card, and this is a $30 or $40 card.
Bro,
easy.
Mana Drain right now is secret layer territory, because like we've seen those calculated prices, and imagine a secret layer that has Mana Crypt or Mana Drain in it.
Right.
People would they have this price memory that Mana Drain is this super expensive card, but time has beaten its price down and showed us that even one of the most powerful counterspell effects that give us a bunch of mana on our next turn, it can't withstand demand.
Nope.
Like if the demand isn't there, the price goes down. That's how it works.
Painter's Servant has interesting demand. There's like one really dominant legacy deck that is making the price of this card completely upheld over time.
Yeah, it's just cards in all zones are a specific color. It plays with Grindstone. You mill your opponent. You can play it in Commander. You can play it in Legacy. I'm looking at a 10-0 deck on Legacy with this card, which is really cool. So it's a strong card. It also plays in Aristocrats with Teysa, and it has some other combos as well. But it's just niche. It's a niche card. Big scarcity play here.
Huge. Only Shadowmoor and an Invention. That is it.
Bro, if they ever bring this card back and they make it higher than rare, they're just like, oh, it's a mythic. I would just be like so
dude,
mad. But,
what a slap in the face.
Yeah.
What a punch in the if this is upshifted to Mythic,
Yeah,
that is
just because of the price.
absolutely ridiculous,
think
dude.
about it. No, it's a rare that would be a chase rare in a set, and it would just absolutely nuke the price.
Yeah.
Like, the price would be just obliterated, which is what it needs to do. I mean, it's a combo card, and it's just supposed to be expensive because it's scarce. Like,
Yeah.
these are cards that I hate holding the most.
For
This
sure.
just has to be on a watch list where it's like, when do we want to include Painter's Servant?
Yeah.
You know, I'm surprised it's not on the list.
Well, this one, yeah, for sure, is on a wheel in the back of WotC's planning department.
Oh, yeah.
They just spin that sucker every set. They're like, what's going to sell this set, everybody? $75 card from only Shadowmoor and then an invention? Yeah, I think that'll sell a set, even if, oh my God, it's a monkey. This one will sell a set. Oh my goodness. But yeah, Painter's Servant, weird. Weird that it is still so high on the valuable cards that aren't in any of the categories I talked about. Jake, I mean, what is there to say about Ragavan that has not been said? It's a $70 card for the base copy. The constructed decks that want it want 4. You can't play it in Legacy because it's too freaking good. It's even got some commander playability. This
Dude, some
card
people
just
say
does
it's
it all.
better than some people say it's better than playing Soul Ring on turn 1 in Commander.
Well,
like, it's just one of these cards that is power creep incarnate.
Right.
It's mythic, and it's built with the, I mean, clearly, you know, constructed decks that want it are going to want 4 of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's the money card. They designed it to be the money card. Could it have been a rare? Sure. I mean, it's insanely busted. So I think it's fine as a mythic, but it could have been a rare to make it more accessible to players, and it specifically wasn't. So here we are now, and it's extremely expensive. Imagine if they had made a Goblin Guide mythic, you know?
Right.
I think
Yeah.
it's better than Goblin Guide. But,
I was going to say it's way better, but that back in the
Yeah.
day, I get the comparison. You know, it's this is just top of the reprint list in multiple formats.
Treasure,
Yeah.
we all know is just busted, dude. It's
100%.
insane. Keep it in the chest.
Artifacts
kept it in the
that make
chest.
mana, baby. Artifacts that make
Yeah.
mana. Speaking of that, Mox Opal. This is another one that we last saw in Double Masters. And so look at the time frame between Double Masters and now. Look at all the hot heat we got in Double Masters. And look at about how long it takes to creep back up the old money ladder. And you look at Mox Opal. Scars of Mirrodin OG version, $73. Double Masters base copy, $70. You're looking here at the Modern Masters 2015 version, which is the cheapest version, market price. It's like $66. Most expensive version, you guessed it, Kaladesh Invention, over $360. But yeah, this is one, all my artifact decks right now, this is a proxy, bro. This is one that, another one like Mana Crypt, another one like Jeweled Lotus, they are going to control the reprint equity of this card so closely because they know this will sell sets. Always been a mythic, never been downshifted, and there's no reason to believe that it ever will be. Banned in Modern.
Yeah, you can see it crept up. It got really high before we got the reprint.
In Double Masters, because it had been since Modern Masters 2015.
It has a massive fall off because of that reprint, but now is creeping back up because it's just the undeniability factor. It's just good, and if you want the sweaty deck, you need it, and so there's no alternative for it. When there's no alternative, you got to get a copy, and that's what forces the price of these cards to go up. So I'm not even surprised. This one they might hold off on a little bit, give it a little bit more time to continue creeping, but I wouldn't be surprised if it shows up in a set soon.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one. I think I said it in a short recently. Anytime there is a artifact with the word Mox or with the word Lotus in it, it's going to get a second look from everybody. And
Right.
pretty much across the board, the Moxes have found homes. I think Mox Tantalite, that's like the only awful one, right? And even that is a $7 mythic. There's no home for it. Nobody plays it.
Yeah.
Yell at me in the comments if you play Mox Tantalite and I'm underselling it.
No.
But the card is pretty awful.
Yeah.
0 mana artifacts, though, man. This is, I mean, Mox Opal's always going to pop up.
Fierce Guardianship, yeah, free spells. These came out of the Ikoria commander decks that came out essentially 3 years since these cards came out.
It's particularly difficult to reprint cards that say Commander in them. These were some of our big calls for the Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. We are not actually a Commander Legends set. That was the place we thought we were going to see Fierce Guardianship. That's the place where we thought we were going to see Deflecting SWAT. You know, when you look at Fierce Guardianship, one print ever, one version of one print, Commander 2020, $65. You look at Deflecting SWAT, $65, Commander 2020. The free spells from that set that are playable. Only Commander. This price is completely driven by Commander. But you got to have a special set. You can't just throw a card that says Commander on it into any old set. It's just not going to work, because they want most of these sets to be draftable experiences. So it's got to be a Commander draftable experience for these to be reprintable into that. So where do you look? You look to precons, you look to secret layers. Jake, these cards are $65. They've priced themselves out of secret layer cards at this point.
How about get your Commander on the battlefield while you have Fierce Guardianship in your hand?
Free negate with Fierce Guardianship, free redirect effect with Deflecting SWAT. What both of these excel at is protecting your commander and being free. That is why they are $65 cards. Or one quick trip to your local library. Aboro, Palace in the Clouds. This is one we didn't see reprinted, Jake. Aboro is a rare from Saviors of Kamigawa, and that is the only place it's ever appeared. That is why this is a $63 land. But a landfall deck, anything that's looking for legendaries, anything that's looking for returned permanents to hand, Aboro is just like an enabler for all of those strategies.
This is a card that I've wanted reprinted for a while. It's a great mill card, and it's a great landfall card. So like
it mills with the crabs, right? That's why it's good.
Yeah, it's just being able to return it to your hand and then play it again to get the mill effect off the landfall trigger that plays alongside Hydra Crab. Stuff like that is why this card is good, but it is very like one of these cards like we were talking about in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. In that video, I don't know if you guys watched that video, but we were discussing the channel lands and why they're so good. You have a land that enters the battlefield. It isn't a tap land, so it enters, in this case, you have a card that can be an island, or it has this other unique ability on it that plays alongside popular effects that, again, gets better with time. The more those effects that come out, you know, the more landfall effects, say there's something that, you know, doubles landfall effects, then Aboro gets better, right? Because now all of a sudden you're able to return it, play it again.
Make your list, check it twice, take it to the printer, and get some of these cards.
I thought you were going to say, and then go get ice.
I was going to say naughty or nice, but we all know Watsy's been naughty, and it's nice to play Magic.
That's a good way to say it. And we had spent several hours trying to figure out how to end this video, and I'm happy that we figured out an organic way to do it.
I couldn't sleep last night because we didn't know.
And I won't sleep tonight because I miss you.